The strangers, believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. Your heart is bound to break. I walk alone in the night, neath the pale moon, loving's for the fools. Baby, beware of my bite. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. I go with the wind blows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering the name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a lone wolf.
Alright, guys. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be an interesting day. How are we all? What's up? I'm just bringing up the panda right now. So, as you guys probably can tell, we're going to be talking about abortion, because we haven't flogged this dead horse completely enough. And the left seems very, very, very keen to talk about abortions. But, anyway. Alright. Yeah, just going through. And here it is, here. Alright, okay. Alright. So, how are we all? Are we all good? Are we all well? Hello, Trip. Hello, Eric. How are you guys? We're going to start with some funny news. We're going to start with some news that is going to make you sit there and think, this is clown world that we're living in. That any moment you expect Honkler to jump out and go, honk, honk, because this is so topsy-turvy. But let's jump into it. Hillary Clinton is to serve as a keynote speaker at a cyber defense summit. Yep. Yeah, you got that right. You've had that right. Let me reiterate that just for everybody. Hillary Clinton is to serve as a keynote speaker at a cyber defense summit. Yeah. Right, let's jump into it. Alright, so Hillary Clinton to serve as a keynote speaker at a cyber defense summit. I'm sorry, I can't even say that without thinking, what WTF? But anyway. Former Democrat President nominee Hillary Clinton will serve as a keynote speaker at the Cyber Defense Summit in 2019, the cybersecurity company FireEye announced on Thursday. We are pleased to announce that former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton will be featured at our keynote at our Five Eyes Summit in October. Secretary Clinton will engage In a intimate Q&A keynote discussion, a tweet from the panel read, I have some questions I would like to ask at this keynote Q&A, especially on cybersecurity. For example, what is the best way to secure a server that you stick in a fish and chip shop pop operation? Is there a better way of doing it, or is there some sort of, do you just not install a keyboard? Do you remove the hard drive, the floppy drive? Oh, here's what. What's the best way to smash iPhones? Is it with a 40-pound lump hammer or just a normal standard hammer? What works best, Hillary Clinton? Five Eyes website touted its informative and insightful keynotes from the industry through thought leaders. Take the opportunity to share the best practices, learn about the latest advancements and enhancements your cyber preparedness, the company said in the events. Moving along. The event is designed to inform executives on cybersecurity as well as security practices on how to mitigate, detect, and respond to cyber attacks. What's the best program to remove over 30,000 emails, Hillary? Is it BleachBit, or is there an easier way of doing it? How many times do you need to reformat a hard drive before the FBI can no longer recover those said emails? Would be another question you could ask, for example. Her comments will follow a slew of appearances in which she attributed her 2016 loss partly to Russia cyber activists used to interfere in the election. In May, she said the election was stolen from her. I think it's also critical to understand that I've been telling candidates who have come to see me, you can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you, she said during an event in May. Though that loss, according to her, was also influenced by former FBI Director James Comey's decision to notify Congress about the agency's investigation into her email servers. The scandal hung over Clinton's head for the entire of her campaign, during which she polled low on trustworthiness. Clinton declined any intentional wrongdoing, as investigators found that the Secretary of State she sent classified material over unsecure servers in her basement. She and her team faced suspicion trying to conceal evidence as well as after it was scrubbed to the server. At one point, Clinton seemed to defend herself by suggesting she didn't know what it meant to wipe a server. But don't worry, she's going to be at a cybersecurity panel. What, like a cloth or something, Clinton said when asked about the issue during the election cycle. I don't know how it works digitally at all, she said. Yet, once again, she's at a cybersecurity panel. You can't make this shit up. You really, really can't. And of course, The Hill is also running the article. Hillary Clinton, who had an insecure bathroom email server, is speaking at a cybersecurity summit. In a true display of the state of our clown world, failed president candidate and cybersecurity simpleton Hillary Clinton is set to speak at an upcoming cybersecurity summit, presumably to tell attendees how not to set up your email server. Clinton is listed as a keynote speaker for the FireEye Cyber Defense Summit held in October, despite the fact that she apparently had no idea what cybersecurity means. According to the Five Eyes event registration, Cyber Defense Summit brings together many of the world's leading security experts frontline heroes, government leaders, and executives from various industries to address the challenges of today's threat. Let's go. Clinton, who left the trail of destruction in her wake in her tenure at the State Department, is apparently either playing the role of either a frontline hero or a government leader. During this year's summit, she's expected to engage in an ultimate Q&A. And yeah, it's basically the same stuff I've already just said. Look, at the end of the day, look, she was Deputy Secretary of State, whatever it was. So, at the end of the day, I would say I get the fact that they're bringing her along because she's ex-government. But I don't know. I could probably think of other people that I might want to well, apparently Hillary Clinton kept a server in the bathroom, Eric. But yeah, I don't know. I could think of other experts that I might want to bring along. I don't know. Just as a former government official at some capacity, and probably one of the world's largest experts when it comes to cybersecurity, I would say, I don't know, Edward Snowden might be a better choice. Maybe Julian Assange via video conference, as well as obviously Edward would have to be video conference. Julian Assange might be a better option to talk about cybersecurity, considering he is or was an ex-hacker. I don't know. I'm just thinking that those two names would probably have more weight behind them than Hillary Clinton regarding how to, defend yourself from breaches. Like, this is literally a girl, or a woman, if you want to call it that. I personally rather call it Hellspawn of Demon, but anyway, who actually instructed her staff to smash phones with hammers so that they could be destroyed. Not just wipe them or destroy the cards, SIM cards or whatever. Destroy the actual phones by smashing them with hammers. This is her idea on how to destroy mobile phones and whatnot. Like, really? I really don't know. I really don't know about this. I really don't know what to say about this. This is just absolute crazy. It really is. But anyway, so yeah, guys, if you want to go to the Fire Eye Summit, so that's going to be happening. Yeah, I don't know. I personally, I could think of more important people that would probably be better off there, but I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Hillary Clinton to serve as a keynote speaker at a cyber defense summit. Whew. Really is clown world. Anybody else would have been a better choice than Hillary. Yeah, like, this is a girl who literally said, with a cloth. Okay, you could probably make the argument she was joking. Fine. You could probably make that argument. But at the end of the day, like, oh, God, really? Like, this girl, when I think of Hillary Clinton and emails and like, computers and stuff, I think of my mum, okay? She knows how to turn them on. She knows how to type one-fingered and maybe send an email, maybe post on something on Facebook. But even then, the Facebook posting is going to be pretty basic. That's what I think of Hillary Clinton when it comes to this sort of stuff. So, yeah, cybersecurity summit. I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't really see it as an option. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. in the comment section below. Let me know also if you're planning on going to it. I can give you a whole stack of questions you might want to ask. But apart from that, guys, let's jump into the next story. Okay, so, holy dooly, we're going to talk about abortion. Yet again. Anyway. Louisiana's governor, a Democrat, signs a heartbeat bill into law. So no longer now, it's not just the evil Republicans that are doing it. It's even the Democrats are jumping in on it. By the way, that narrative really did change, didn't it? Louisiana's Democrat Governor John Bel Edwards broke from his party ideology Thursday and signed a bill that would prohibit women from having abortion once a baby's heartbeat is detected in almost all cases. Edwards urged his Democrat colleagues to do as well, tweeting a statement on Wednesday saying, "I call on the overwhelming bipartisan majority of legislators who vote for me to join and continuing to build a better Louisiana that cares for at least among us to provide more opportunity for everybody." The fetal heartbeat abortion ban applies to pregnancies as early as 6 weeks before some women even know they're pregnant, and includes the exception for medical fertility instances where mother's health risk or the baby's stillborn. The bill's necessitates an ultrasound to confirm pregnancy and does not include exceptions for women who are victims of rape and incest. The bill's passage makes Louisiana the 5th state after Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio to pass a Fetal Heartbeat Act in the state, which changes the constitutional right to abortion guaranteed by the Supreme Court in 1973 Roe v. Wade. Now, obviously, that's also said there has been changes when it came to, for example, the other way. New York, for example, has gone full pro-abortion. So it's not just one way, it's both ways. Now, Republican Governor Kay Ivey signed an Alabama abortion bill earlier in May that makes performing abortion at any stage of pregnancy with no exceptions except a health risk to the mother a felony crime punishable by up to life imprisonment. In Louisiana, doctors and medical providers who perform an abortion could face up to 2 years in prison and lose their medical license. Although many of the state's legislators have been challenged in court because of the constitution conflicts, state lawmakers hope that the controversy will facilitate Supreme Court justice in overturning Roe v. Wade. Louisiana will not go into effect until Mississippi's similar legislation is upheld by a federal court, but so far it faces legal challenges as federal judges backed the Mississippi law by injunction on Friday. Democrat colleagues lashed out at Edwards with a 2020 president candidate, Senator Christine Gillibrand, accusing the governor of turning his back on Louisiana women by signing this shameful bill. Now, at the end of the day, that in itself is probably bad enough, but then you get celebrities coming out saying things like, for example, Anne Hathaway implies abortion needed to prevent poor and black babies. What? Just reiterating that. Anne Hathaway implies abortion is needed to prevent poor and black babies. And they think that the right is racist? Actress Anne Hathaway, known for a role in the Princess Diaries films, decried the pro-life efforts of white women last week on Instagram, slamming them for their assistance in the passage of Alabama law that's made abortion to all but illegal in the state. Yes, the anti-abortion movement is primarily about controlling women's bodies under these premises. for many sincere of saving lives, and yes, this law primarily the work of white men, however, a white woman sponsored the bill and a white woman signed it into law. So, you know, it's not all about men, is it? Hathaway wrote in a reference to Representative Terry Collins and Governor Ivy Kay of Alabama, as we're resisting, let us also call out the complicity of white women who made this awful movement possible, which make no mistake will lead to the necessary and avoidable deaths of women. A disproportionate number of women of whom will be poor and or black. What? No, you... Holy shit. Anna Hathaway just joined the alt-right. Confirmed. In the same Instagram post, she copied a tweet that said that 62% of non-college educated white women voted Republican in 2016, and then instructed her followers to donate to the pro-choice organizations. The Brooklyn-born Hathaway, herself a white woman, is example of the ignorance and racism inherited in the pro-abortion position, with its deep roots in a eugenics movement. A former Patriot player, Ben Watson, said when calling out a similar sentiment exposed by Alyssa Milano. To claim that giving more children of colour the right to be born will negatively affect women of colour reveals ignorant racism or some combination of both. Our children and our families are capable of greatness, and lies like this are harmful to our future. Don't patronise us, Warrington wrongly points out to the black population, which has suffered so much at the hands of slavery, racism, and the US, is only further harmed by abortions. Which is true. The large majority of abortions are actually held on to, for example, the black population. The abortion centres are always seemingly in the black poor neighbourhood areas. They claim it's because that's where the most abortions are needed, but I don't know. It's a little weird that, considering that the founder of Planned Parenthood was apparently into this eugenics. Allegedly, I've got to say, you know, should check that one out too when you get a chance, liberals. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, like, can you imagine a conservative coming out and saying that abortion's needed to prevent poor or black babies? Holy shit, that would be... They would lose their shit. They really, really would. They would just absolutely lose it. But anyway. Revealed women's fertility app is funded by an anti-abortion campaigners. A popular women's health and fertility app sows doubt about our birth control, features claims from medical advisors who are not licensed to practice in the US, and is funded by the lead anti-abortion, anti-gay Catholic campaigners, a Guardian investigation has found. The Fem app, which collects personal information about sex and menstruation from users, has been downloaded more than 400,000 times since its launch in 2015. According to the developers, it has users in the US, EU, Africa, and Latin America, and its operating company claims. Two of the app's medical advisors are not licensed to practice in the US and are also closely tied to the Catholic University in Santiago, Chile, where access to abortion remains severely restricted. FEM receives much of its income from private donors, including Charis Foundation, a charity backed almost extensive by the Scene Fiddler, a wealthy Catholic hedge fund based in New York. Fiddler's Foundation is long support organization and politics of the Vice President Mike Pence that opposes birth control and abortion. Fiddler has criticized Republicans for failing to outlaw abortion, calling their renaissance the tyranny of moderation in a recent editorial. Yeah, look, I'm not surprised. Sure. But since then, obviously, keep going on this abortion topic. Netflix continues production in Egypt, where abortion is illegal, while considering Georgia boycott over the heartbeat bill. Netflix plans to step up production in the Middle East, notably Jordan and Egypt, where abortion is illegal after mulling a company boycott in Georgia on the account of the heartbeat abortion bill. Netflix chief content officer Ted Sarandos stated Tuesday that the company would rethink its Georgia investments if the heartbeat bill takes effect. Netflix expressed reluctance to produce content in regions with strong anti-abortion laws. Seemingly does not extend to the Middle East, where recently a company has been ramping up the number of undertaken projects, according to Variety. Netflix is working on its third Arabic original titled Paranormal. Variety reports the show will be based on a series of Arabic horror books written by Egyptian author Ahmed Khalil Touafi. According to Variety, the show will be produced in Egypt, where abortion is punishable by imprisonment and almost all circumstances, according to the Pew Research Center. Paranormal is the most recent of three Netflix original series to be set and produced in the Middle East. Jinn is a Netflix-produced teen drama with supernatural elements that was shot in Jordan, according to Variety. In Jordan, abortions are very restricted and only legal when it's determined by the mother's physical and mental health risks of fetal impairment is determined, according to Haaretz. Arababi School of Girls is another Netflix original, also shot and produced in Jordan, featured female lead cast, according to Rapid TV News. Daily Caller News Foundation reached out to Netflix for comment, but the company declined to comment on the subject. To me, this is more about them making money than it is about them having this abortion stance thing. To me, this is just, it's about money. They can go over and they can film in these areas like Egypt and whatnot, where they can make all this money. It's cheaper, and that's why they're doing it. They don't really care about abortion. It's just virtual signaling. If they really did care, they wouldn't film in Egypt. But regardless. Disney CEO Bob Iger throws in very difficult to do business in Georgia if abortion law stands. Okay, well, what about Egypt? You probably have no problems doing it there. Bob Iger, chairman and the CEO of Walt Disney Company, said it would be difficult to continue business relationships in Georgia following the passage of the state's new abortion laws. Iger remarks put him in lockstep with the abortion lobby led by Planned Parenthood, the Hollywood left, and the political activists who endorsed everything from sex strikes to boycotts in protest of the new law. I don't see how it's practical for us to continue to shoot there, said Bob Iger, if the Georgia's Living Infant Fairness and Equality Life Act takes effect. Reuters invited Iger's comments on the company's business dealings in Georgia, specifically asked if the abortion bill in Georgia, how do you feel about that, and is Disney going to keep doing its producing there? Iger replied, I think it becomes law. It'd be very difficult to produce there. I'd rather doubt we will. Many people who work for us will not want to work there, and I will have to hear their wishes in that regard. Right now, we're watching it very carefully. I guess there's some speculation that it could be enacted sometime after the first of year. I also think it's likely to be challenged in the courts that could delay it. Iger said, we're being careful and cautious about it. If it becomes law, I don't see how it's possible, how it's practical for us to continue to shoot there. Mind you, he still will not probably shut up shop over in Egypt if they have any ties over there. So, one rule for me, one rule for thee. Look, at the end of the day, guys, as for the abortion thing, look, I'm against abortion just for the sake of, for example, going in and getting birth control. I think at the end of the day that, you should be able to go through and actually have birth control and actually go through and take some responsibility. Sure, if you're raped, if you're inbred, or then you should be inbreeding anyway. But if you've been inbred, or if there's some sort of risk to life to the mother, or if it's after a certain time, I get that. But that some of these abortionists want up until conceived date to be abortion, and that to me is just that's just wrong. That's where a lot of these abortionists lose me. They lose me because at the end of the day they try and go too far. But let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Sorry to do this, guys. I need to go for a quick break. Hang on a sec. Alright, sorry about that. Someone knocking on my front door. Alright, so let's quickly smash through the rest of these videos and yeah, probably jump off. It's going to be a short one today, guys. I'm not feeling 100%. Navy destroyer John McCain hidden during Trump's Japan visit. So the White House asked the Navy to hide the destroyer named after Senator John McCain in order to avoid the ship having appeared photographs with the President Trump while visiting Japan this week, the White House military officials said on Wednesday. Although the Navy officials insist they did not hide the ship, the John S. McCain, they did give all the sailors aboard the day off on Tuesday as Mr. Trump visited Yasha Naval Base. Two Navy sailors who spoke on the condition of anonymity said they were not authorized to speak publicly, said the McCain sailors were not invited to hear Trump speak the day abroad. The amphibious assault was the ship Wasp, while sailors from other American warships were at the base. The Navy's service members based on Yokoshima said that all of the American warships in the harbor were invited to send 60 to 70 sailors to hear Trump's address, with the exception of the McCain, where several sailors from the McCain showed up anyway, wearing their uniforms with the ship's Niagara, were then turned away, the service members said. This to me seems like it might be a little bit of bullshit. I don't know. Like, yeah, John McCain and Trump had a history, but I don't think they would turn away sailors. I think this is a little bit of crap, to be honest. And once again, it's more anonymous sources from the New York Times and stuff. To me, this sounds like it might be a little bit of bullshit. It really does. Especially considering, and we're going to jump to this part. So the reason why I think it's bullshit is because President Trump stands, salutes, and shakes hands with every Air Force Academy graduate, over 900 candidates. President Trump received a hero's welcome when he was introduced during the ceremony. President Trump acknowledged the families. Thank you for raising rocket-ripped American patriots. Rocked-ripped, sorry. President told Trump that the candidates he would shake all of their hands. This is epic Donald Trump. The man has unlimited energy. And here it is here. But here he is, like, for over an hour. Like, an hour and 23 minutes. He sits there and waves and shakes hands and salutes everybody that was the graduate. Like, here he is for an hour and almost an hour and a half. So him turning away sailors, I think, is a load of crap. I really, really do. So yeah, I don't know. I don't believe it. I think it's a load of crap. I don't think he would do this if he was going to do this. So yeah, I think that if it did happen, there's more to it than that what they're letting on. And I don't think it actually did happen, but anyway. Coca-Cola thinks Americans are finally ready for Coke with coffee. Ugh. So in 2006, Coca-Cola launched the Coca-Cola Black, a coffee-flavored version of its signature product. People didn't like it and the beverage flopped. Coke stopped selling the product in 2008, just 2 years after it launched. Bad timing caused the failure, said Nancy Quinn, the company's chief technical officer. That was a trend before its time, Quell told the CNN Business. I don't think people were ready to have coffee portfolio with their Coca-Cola brand. I don't care. Third Republican to block attempt to pass disaster aid in the House. Democrats are now expected to hold a roll call vote on the bill once lawmakers return to Washington next week. We've covered this already. This is the third time. The fact is, at the end of the day, they keep trying to pass it with this no objection minority sort of thing. Because of Congress is away, they are wanting to try and pass it when a lot of them are away in the House. Coca-Cola with coffee, I don't know about that. Neither, man. Like, nah. So they're trying to go through and they're trying to hold this. They'll get this disaster relief bill passed while the majority of them are away. And at the end of the day, all you need to do to stop it is just to have one objection. Just have one Republican object. And that's all they're getting, is they're just getting one in every now and then. And the reason why the Republicans are rejecting it is because they want money for their wall, which the Democrats don't want to give. So, yeah. But anyway. Trump tweets and then retracts a statement. Russia helped him get elected? I don't know about this, but let's jump into it. President Trump lashed out angrily at Robert S. Mueller on Thursday, accusing him of pursuing a personal vendetta as Mr. Trump sought to counter increasing calls among the Democrats for impeachment. The day after Mueller, the special counsel spoke for the first time and refused to exonerate the president, dismissed the Mueller investigation. Quote, I think he is a totally conflicted person, Mr. Trump said of Mr. Mueller before flying to Colorado to deliver comments address about the Air Force Academy. I think Mueller is a true never-Trumper. He's somebody that dislikes Donald Trump. He's somebody that didn't get a job that he requested and that he wanted very badly, and then he was appointed. Mr. Trump asserts the conflicts of interest have been refuted, not only by Mr. Mueller, but even some of the president's own former aides. But Trump appeared determined to undermine the credibility of Mueller. This doesn't have anything to do with him tweeting saying that Russia helped him. So, where's this? Where's this? I'm just trying to find it if there's... There seems to be nothing here about... I had nothing to do with Russia helping me get elected. Alright, so he's talking about Russia hacking the thing. It's probably bad choice, bad wording, whatever it was. But he's not saying... He's literally said, I had nothing to do with Russia. I had nothing to do with Russia helping me win the election. So, look, probably bad wording, sure. But, yeah. Oh my God, you're going to tell me the President of the United States is not 100% presidential. Oh my God, I am so shocked. Fox Cubs feds to South Hampshire hunting hounds. A man and woman have admitted cause unnecessary suffering to a fox cub at the hunting kennels. Birmingham Magistrate Court heard that cubs were fed to hounds belonging to the South Hampshire hunt. Edward Ilmore, 55, of Broshorten Estate near Albergrave, I'm mispronouncing, and Paul Rees, 48, from Tilton in South Wales, both admitted to 2 counts of causing unnecessary suffering to a protected animal. Former Amish supporter, you have no future in this district as a Republican. Oof. A woman voter who attended town hall event on Tuesday for Representative Justin Amash, who's a Republican supposedly for Minnesota. I think it's Minnesota. Michigan, sorry. Michigan accused him of political grandstanding in his calls to impeach President Trump and claimed he only wants to benefit from it to raise his national profile. I think a lot of people here who cheered and applaud you courageously most likely didn't vote for you, the woman told Amash, who represents Michigan's 3rd Congressional District, which includes Grand Rapids. I, on the other hand, voted for you in every election since 2010, she continued, and in fact, I worked for your first campaign in 2010. I knocked on hundreds of doors for you, I made hundreds of calls for you, inviting people to your events to meet you. I made tons of personal phone calls to friends to vote for you when you were running against a bunch of other people. So I was there for you from the very beginning. I'm not sure how many people applauding your courage were, but I'd like to say since that time I've changed my position on you, she said. You have spent the last 2 years failing to do your job, which is directly represent the popular will of your constituents. Amash challenged her on that point, saying his job is to uphold the Constitution. Those are not mutually exclusive. Do you realize that? She replied. Minor League Baseball team loses sponsorship over AOC Enemies of Freedom video. Oh, she's at it again, is she? Let's record this one. Minor League Baseball team loses sponsorship over AOC's Enemy of the Freedom video. A minor league baseball team in California lost its sponsor after the club aired a Memorial Day video showing New York Representative Alexandria Cortez among several notorious communist dictators. Well, it's probably true. The video, called Enemies of Freedom, showed Alexandria Cortez between images of North Korea dictator Kim Jong-un and former Cuban President Fidel Castro. Although the team apologized immediately for the incident, that was not enough to preserve Sun Made Raisins from pulling the sponsorship of the team. Sun Maiden Raisins emailed a statement on their decision to the Frisco Bee. We're deeply disappointed by the Memorial Day tribute video of Fresco's Grizzlies aired on Monday. Sun Maiden does not support the views or the sentiments exposed in the video, nor does it contain the airing of it. While Grizzlies have apologized for this mistake, we are standing on the side of what we believe is right and terminating our sponsorship of the team. Thanks. Thanks, Sat. You just got an ad. Yeah, I occasionally get an ad too. Sometimes, yeah, it's like weird. Yeah. How are you, buddy? But yeah, we've already showed the ad. I think it was in yesterday's video. Look, I don't know. I think it's someone just trying to have a bit of a joke with ASOC's expense. But yeah. YouTube is crushing a lot of channels. People subscribes have stalled. Views shot down dramatically. YouTube tried to demonetize Secure Team 10, but his audience backlash was too much and YouTube restored it. Yeah. This is what I was calling out like 18 months ago when my channel was hit with the same thing. And, no one took any notice then, dude. I warned people this was coming. I want people this is coming because it happened to me. My channel lost demonetization for 3 months, remember? I had to go through and reapply. So, yeah. A man who set himself on fire. So, a man who set himself on fire outside the White House dies from his injuries. The man who set himself on fire near the White House on Wednesday succumbed to his injuries in the U.S. Park Police said on Thursday. Apa Grover, 33, was from the Ellipso near Pennsylvania Avenue when he reportedly lit his jacket on fire, which erupted into a fireball. The Washington, D.C. Fire Department and Secret Service immediately responded and rendered first aid. After the flames were extinguished, Grappa was rushed to a local hospital, according to the US Park Police. The Park Police released a statement Thursday morning confirming Grappa had died from the injuries. So, never Trumper, maybe? So apparently he was reported missing hours before the discovery of the fire by his family. So, yeah. Nancy Pelosi brings up Melania when criticizing Trump's merit-based plan. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi invoked First Lady Melania Trump when attacking the White House's latest plan or proposal, suggesting the president was a hypocrite for wanting a merit-based system. When the president says merits, turn it upside down. That means make America again. I don't want to say that word because I'm trying to keep my monetization. Have people leave, just go back, and when we'll let people we like, Pelosi said. That's not true. Merit-based systems are when you allow people to come to the country just on their merits. So, you know, if they're educated, if they've got jobs, skilled labour, unskilled labour, whatever it may be. So, Elizabeth Warren, Fox News is a something-for-profit scam, pushing white something. Thursday on ABC's The View, 2020 Democrat President hopeful Senator Elizabeth Warren said she refused to do Fox News town hall because the network was what she calls a hate-for-profit scam. Warren said, here's how I see it. I want to go everywhere. I want to look this way. I want to have 3 brothers, older brothers. I grew up with them back in Alabama. When as a Democrat, do the math on this. What? What the hell is she going on about? Oh, wow. Alright, yeah, do that next. Look, we've already pretty much covered this. This is Elizabeth Warren saying she doesn't want Fox News there because she fears that they're a hate-for-profit campaign network. To be honest, it's sort of like the pot calling the kettle black. I don't know. You know, it's me identity politics. It really, really is. So, yeah. This is something that Satellite's just thrown up. US military to troll through 350 billion social media messages. I might record this one actually. US military to troll through 350 billion social media messages. The US military plans to analyze 350 billion social media posts from around the world to help it track how popular movements evolve. A tender from the project based on the Naval Postgrad School in Montreal, California, calls for screening messages from at least 200 million users from more than 100 countries, which is more than 60 languages, to better understand collective expression. Messages including usernames, which will be examined for comments, metadata, location, and hometown identifiers. While it's in part of existence Department of Defense analysis effort to harness big data from social research, the scale and global reach of this program is striking. A senior lecturer in internal relations at Birkbeck University of London said by email. The study's proposed is to look at the social media messages posted publicly between July 2014 and December 2016 on a single platform, according to Socialist request. A non-private communications will be included. Yeah, no private communications Oh yeah, no private communications will be included, and individuals' users won't be identified in the research, according to the Navy. This seems like to me like they're going over through and they're trying to go through and they're trying to figure out how to stop populist movements. Social media data shows us everything from first time to measures how expression and slang evolve over time across a diverse array of human societies. Data can be used to train algorithms to understand increasing subtle shifts in culture context, he said. This is kind of scary, man. There's a risk we learn to exploit this data to manage how people interact online. It'll give governments and bad actors tools that they can use to manipulate our thoughts and behaviors, Carter says. I would agree. This is like how to socially engineer people. Such projects are important to help defend against adversaries seeking to undermine democracy and create divisions within the Western society, says William A. Carter, Director and Deputy for Tech Policies at the Center of Strategic and International Studies in Washington. So in other words, another government worker. Yeah, this seems like that they're trying to figure out how to stop populist movements. How they can go through and track people, and there's no way this data is going to be used for good. It's kind of scary, actually. Makes you wonder what social media platform they're going to use. It doesn't say, does it? It's probably Twitter. Facebook is the primary platform. It has more than 1.2 billion. Okay, so Facebook. Printed on letter-sized paper, 350 billion messages would make a stack about 10,000 miles high. Oof. Yeah, I do believe that they will also go through and identify people as well. More Big Brother. That's true. That is true too. Oh no, guys, let us know what you think about that in the comment section below. Alright, oh boy. Bernie Sanders was investigated by FBI for Marxist ties. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, supposedly socialist president candidate, and was investigated by the FBI for his Marxist ties while he was a mayor of Bennington, Vermont during the 1980s, according to the new reports published Thursday. The 77-year-old Democrat president contender maintained close ties to Leon Trotsky-inspired Communist Social Worker Party, SWP. At the same time, the US was engaged in a Cold War with the Communist Soviet Union. Files obtained by Joseph Simmons of the Washington Examiner show. Sanders supported anti-American fanatic Andrew Pally during the 1980 presidential election and former Black Panther Mel Madsen during the 1984 election. Sanders was also a featured speaker at the 1982 SWP convention, although there remains no evidence that Sanders was ever a member of the party, according to reports. Additionally, report states that Sanders' activities drew the attention of the FBI, who probed into his ties to far-left groups, something that drew the mayor's ear. The report states that Sanders' involvement with SWP led to him being investigated by the FBI, prompting outrage from then Bennington mayor. I would agree with the judge, Sanders said at the time, referring to a civil case arising from the incident, who is quite correct in pointing out that when FBI agents come into a Secretary of State's office attempting to investigate the political background of a mayor of a large city in the state, there's no question that it opens up the potential for exploitation by the media and could be a source of embarrassment. Sanders has been a self-described Democrat socialist for the most part of his public life that has a history of expressing support for far-left radicals, including Cuban dictator Fidel Castro and the Santiags in Nicaragua. Sanders is widely considered a frontrunner of the Democrat president nominee and has been at the top of several polls since announcing his candidacy earlier this year. Is anybody frigging surprised? Like, is anybody surprised that he is going through and he is, he has links or ties or whatever you want to call it to the Socialist Worker Party? Yeah. Sure, we'll do that next, man. Yeah. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised that Bernie Sanders has been investigated. I would be surprised if he didn't have ties to them. But, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I've already covered that one. So Nevada Governor Steve Scalise, Democrat, on Thursday, vetoed a bill which would have pledged the state's 6 electoral votes in the winner of the popular vote of the President of the United States. Assembly Bill 186, which recently passed the Senate on a 12-8 vote, would have seen Nevada join the 14 other states in agreement to vote for the winner of the popular vote. The Assembly had voted in favour of the measure, 23-17. Once effective, the national popular vote in interstate compact could diminish the role of smaller states like Nevada in national election contests and force Nevada's electors to side with whoever is the national popular vote. This is what the Democrats are trying to do at the moment. They're trying to go through... No, I don't like Fidel Castro, no. They basically... Dude, he's a commie. Of course I don't like him. They're trying to go through and basically make it so that these states will go through and make the states vote for whoever wins the popular vote. So when you, for example, with the Electoral College, right? When Trump wins, for example, Florida then has a choice whether they wish to vote with the Electoral College or if the Electoral College wants to overturn that and vote for Democrat or whoever it may be. Normally what they do is they will go through and they will actually vote for the whoever wins the Electoral College. But what they're trying to do at the moment is they're trying to get a whole bunch of Democrat states to go through and to actually vote for whoever wins the popular vote. Now, people are a little bit concerned about this because it's sort of a way of circumventing the whole Electoral College sort of vote sort of stuff, which technically it would. But also keep in mind that at the end of the day, it's also only Democrat states that are really going to vote for this. Unless the Republicans come on board for some weird reason, which I can't imagine, then at the end of the day, it's going to be mostly the Democrat states that do this, which is going to hurt the Democrats. Because at the end of the day, if it's a popular vote and the Republicans win, then the Democrats are going to have to vote for the Republicans. But if it's the Republicans and the state and the Democrats win the popular vote, well, if they're not the ones doing it, then they're not going to go through and do it. So I don't know how this is going to help the Democrats unless they get the Republicans on board. And I really don't think the Republicans are going to do it. So, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I think the electoral college vote idea is a lot better than what we have in Australia. We do the popular vote here. And it does really... Yeah. It's not perfect. It really is not. Small parties like One Nation and stuff like that generally can't get anywhere because they don't win the most popular vote. But yeah. Joe Biden in 1973 lectured Cleveland on what is good for the certain word I can't say because I'll be demonetized. Former Vice President Joe Biden lectured the City Club in Cleveland, Ohio in 1973 about what he thought was good for the something or other, according to a new book from a prominent left-wing journalist. This is the case of the left attacking the left because they don't want Joe Biden to win. What you're seeing at the moment with the left and the Democrats is you're seeing two different groups going at it. You have the far left and the center left. Now, the military-industrial complex will want the center left to win because they're pro-war. The far left wants, obviously, their candidate to win, which the military-industrial complex doesn't want because they're generally anti-government, anti-war. So, yeah, it's a case of the Democrats are trying to tear themselves in two. The racially insensitive comment from Biden, a white man from Delaware who was at the time newly elected to the US Senate, resurfaced thanks to a new book from the leftist journalist Ryan Grimm of The Intercept. The book, We've Got People, From Jesse Jackson to AOC, The End of Big Money and the Rise of the Movement, has already landed a few other major blows, including one on former President Barack Obama regarding his don't ask, don't tell repeal legacy. But the revelation about Biden's torrid history with race as told from the left is partially damning for the current Democrat 2020 president candidate. And that's what I think it's there. He did a great thing at the time. Dude, he's a communist. You're never going to convince me that a communist did a great thing at a time. In a section explained how Biden attempted to win back Democrats while working class voters in 1970, Grimm writes about our former vice president controversial messaging, something that may come back to haunt him in 2020. Joe Biden, elected to Senate in 1972, was a leading voice in the attempt to win back white working class voters by showing them how tough Democrats could be against affirmative action. And Trump targets UK, Australia and Ukraine over great hoax in history of our country. Oh, that was my knee. This is another, obviously, suggestion from Satellite. Speaking with reporters at the White House on Friday... Actually, I should record this. Trump targets UK, Australia and Ukraine over the great hoax in the history of our country. President Donald Trump on Friday said that he wants Attorney General William Barr to investigate the UK, Australia and the Ukraine for their roles in the greatest hoax in history of our country. Speaking with reporters at the White House on Friday, before his trip to Japan, Trump disclosed that his decision this week to issue a sweeping declaration order, leaving it in the hands of Barr to determine exactly what happened to Trump and his campaign before and after the 2016 US election. For over a year, people have asked me to declassify what's done and declassify everything, said Trump, adding he can look and hope to looks at the UK and hope he looks at Australia and I hope I look at Ukraine. This is the greatest hoax probably in the history of our country and somebody has to get the bottom of it. We'll see. For a long period of time, they wanted me to declassify it all. This is about finding out what happened, Trump said, what happened and where it did happen. Because he was an attempt takedown of the President of the United States, we have to find out why. Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't think I saw that come up at the same time. So, yeah. We exposed everything. We've been a word that you like, transparent. We're ultimately being believed transparent. That is why about it. Again, this should never have happened in our country. After the Mueller report, it made it clear that Trump and his campaign had no way conspired with Russia during the 2016 election. Democrats immediately pivoted to whether Trump obstructed the investigation. Trump and his supporters, however, immediately pivoted to the conduct of the U.S. Intelligence Committee including the involvement of the foreign actors and possibly their governments. According to a report last week, a discredited Steele dossier assembled from former MI6 spy Christopher Steele was referred to as the Crown material in an email exchange, suggesting that former FBI Director James Comey insisted that the CIA Director John Brennan pushed for the inclusive of the dossier in the Intelligence Committee Assessment (CICA) on Russia interference. Moreover, the Operation Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI's official investigation into the Trump campaign, occurred on the UK soil, which is perhaps why the New York Times reported last September that the UK begged Trump not to declassify Russiagate documents without redaction. Shortly after he announced his involvement with the Trump campaign, aide George Papadopoulos, might be mispronouncing, was lured to London in March 2016, where Maltese professors and self-described Clinton Foundation member Joseph Musfitz fed him the rumour that Russia had damaging information on Hillary Clinton, and was later at London bar at the Papadopoulos would drunkenly pass the rumour to Australian diplomat Alexandria Downer, who FBI agent Peter Strutz flew to London to meet with the day after the Crossfire Hurricane was launched. 2 weeks later, Papadopoulos would be built for information by the Australian diplomat, another Clinton ally, Alexandria Downer, at the London bar, who relied on Russia rumour to Australian authorities, which asserted that the FBI, as the story goes, which officially kicked off the US intelligence investigation. As for Ukraine, the Ukraine court ruled in December that the country meddled in the US election when they revealed details of suspected illegal payments to former Trump campaign Paul Manafort. Last week, President Trump's attorney Rudy Giuliani met with former Ukraine diplomat Adriel Tazia, I'm getting that name wrong, who has previously suggested that the DNC work with the Kiev government in 2016 to dig up dirt on the then candidate Donald Trump. Giuliani told the Washington Post in Friday interview that Tizova was in Washington and he came up to New York and spent most of the afternoon together, adding, "We have something to say, I'll say it." This comes on the heels of Giuliani cancelling a trip to Ukraine to meet with President-elect Vladimir Zelensky to discuss the Manafort situation. According to the Hill's John Sommer, the former DNC operative steeped in Trump-Russia research approached the Ukraine government looking for dirt on them, candidate Donald Trump, during the 2016 election. It seems like every other country was meddling in the US's election. Why do they only care about Russia? Oh wait, my narrative. Look, I'll put a link in the description below. Guys, check out that, because it's quite interesting. It's like, we knew about Alexandria Downer, the Australian guy who went through an Australian Prime Minister, and I think it was Prime Minister at the time, and basically went through and meddled. We knew about that already. But we also know that he used to give money, Australia used to give money to the Hillary Clinton Foundation, and soon stopped after she lost. So, yeah. Look, we have our own deep state, don't worry. But, yeah. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. So the big message you skipped above that. Sorry. To be honest, I didn't like Castro either, but the people at the time loved him because they led the revolution freeing the country from tyranny. Unfortunately, after the long time, communism ruined the country instead. Communism always ruins the country, dude. But anyway. Yeah, I did miss that big message, sorry, my bad. Alright. Look, at the end of the day, guys, that's basically where I'm going to leave it. I'm not feeling 100% today. I've got to stop eating Maccas. It's making me sick. Although at the moment I don't have a kitchen, so yeah, I'm renovating. Apart from that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below on any of the stuff that we've covered today. Also, we'll upload some of these smaller videos as well. Thanks to everybody who's sat through this whole video. I haven't been completely on point today, so I do appreciate you guys. So obviously sitting in chat. Eric, sunglasses is there, or sunless, sorry. Who else was there? Trip was in here. Yeah. But apart from that, guys, look, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow morning, obviously. Same bat time, same bat station. If you haven't already, smack that like button, please do. Don't forget to share the video, because apparently YouTube thinks that's important these days. Apart from that, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Apart from that, enjoy yourself, have a great night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Try not to cough up bugs that also crawl under your skin. Why am I coughing up bugs? I don't understand. Anyway, have a great night, guys. Enjoy.